Hello, this is Arunava Chaudhuri and you are on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. Today, Friday, August the 22nd, and another hearing of the Supreme Court of India in regard to the matter of a new AIFF constitutional restructuring of the AIFF. Now, some had hoped, some had expected that maybe a final judgment could be out, maybe a first draft version of a new constitution would come out, and taking also into account the new National Sports Governance Bill, but nothing of that happened. The discussion today mainly centered around something which I've of course discussed here on this channel multiple times, and that's the future of the Indian Super League, the structure of it and how and it could, it should, it needs to work. But before I get to that, I have to speak about something else, because I was listening to the hearing and I put out a tweet. Literally my ears were bleeding. If you listen to those conversations, those uninformed conversations, it is one thing very, 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 very clear to me, and maybe the Supreme Court or someone in the Supreme Court sees this video and passes on to the concerned gentleman. You need people with the knowledge of understanding of football and sports governance to be involved to decide on the future of Indian football. Because if people don't understand and know basics of football, we're talking about a transfer window, we're talking about a season, we're talking about how contracts work. How are you going to decide on a future constitution of a federation? The big talking point today was, rather than the constitution, which supposedly is ready, again, was said again and again, that some sort of draft constitution is ready, but we're not getting to that conversation. Today, the main point of the conversation was the future of the Indian Super League, the future of the Master Rights Agreement, the future of what are we going to do? And the interesting part was that the amicus presented the points that the clubs had raised in a letter to him in regard to the future of the clubs and the league that they play in regard to the ISL. And after raising that point, the lawyer of Reliance came forward and explained a few points. There was a hence and forth on the matter. And in the end, the court came around and said, and the Reliance lawyer said, listen, give me 10 days, we can talk with the AIFF. The Supreme Court bench came around and said, you know what? Our next hearing is next Thursday, 28th of August. And by then we want to hear what a possible solution could be for a new contract. And I was thinking, you want to now, in less than 6 days, finalize a follow-up contract, a follow-up MRA from the AIFF side and from FSDL Reliance side to take us forward into the next few years? Of course, applying a little bit of force and then getting two sides to speak to each other, yeah, it does help. But so many questions are unanswered that if you can you present a final outcome? Or is there a bad boy amongst the two sides and, blame game, we wanted a contract, but they didn't want to do this, or vice versa, or for example, does Reliance in the end say, you know what, we give back the rights to the AIFF, you are allowed to do whatever you want with the rights because we are in no position to continue. Such an ad hoc decision, such an ad hoc request. I just shake my head because this whole situation does not make sense. It is, how do we get this overall thing sorted? Why are you not presenting the final constitution of the AIFF? Why are we not having then a potential election or If things are wrong, let FIFA step in. We are in a situation in Indian football which is, to call it insane would be underestimating it. The highest court of the land has been dragging a case in regard to the constitution of a federation, which, if given to sports governance or even football governance experts, you should be solving within 14 days to maybe a month. This case has been going on now for 8 years. It's interesting times because next hearing is on the 28th. The future of the Indian Super League, is it a yes? Is it a maybe? Is it a no? Nobody can tell you. But the bigger question is, dear Supreme Court, when are you presenting the final constitution of the AIFF? Because that could, maybe would, solve certain problems. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? You got something maybe else to say? Write down your viewpoints below, and as always, say like, share, and subscribe. Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. And it's a goodbye from a puzzled Arunava Chaudhuri. I'll see you soon.